this is Ray, and I am here with my final thoughts on the Once Upon a Time series finale of Season 7. The last episode, Leaving Storybrooke, just aired, and these are kind of, again, my thoughts. I'm here with some beautiful art that I'll put the credit in the YouTube video because I don't have it offhand. But I originally got this to have Colin and Jennifer sign at the Creation Once Upon a Time convention last June of 2017. But then Jennifer had to cancel because she was in a play, and I decided just to nix the autographs. Anywho, so here it is for you to enjoy. And of course my Granny shirt, because you gotta represent Granny's Diner. Anywho, let's go back. Let's get on track. So, first off, the Season 7 in general, a lot of people were not too keen on. And I have to say that I'm in the minority, and I really love Season 7. I think it was great. It was fresh. It was different. And I really enjoyed some of the new characters, especially Alice, who I think is a fan favorite. She's so much fun, out there, crazy, and I just love her. And I'm like, love you, Alice. Like, if everything else didn't work, still loved you. So anywho, I do have to say at the end of Season 6 of Once Upon a Time, there was a perfect ending. First day of the wedding, and then they had this dramatic, musical filled, it was completion, right? And everyone was happy at the end. Everything seemed to just come together, and you're like, okay, this is their happy ending. This is it. We're good. But then they're like, hey, we got ready for Season 7. And so you're like, all right, well, what are they going to do? And I was really afraid that the finale wasn't going to live up to it. And in my honest opinion, it didn't. But what you going to do, right? So in this episode, I do have to say there were things I liked about it. Once Upon a Time, in general, I feel like for the last few years has been really up and down and a mess. And there's so many things that are really overly cheesy and dramatic and stuff that just doesn't make sense. I would love to do just a video of everything that didn't make sense in that show. But for this season, one thing, just as a reference, is that Hook and his daughter, Alice, their whole heart thing and how his heart was poisoned and he couldn't be with her. They introduced that before they introduced the actual poisoning of the heart and what that all was. So when that episode happened, where oh my gosh, they can't be by each other and oh, he got hurt, that was so confusing because up until then, there was nothing to indicate that would happen, and they didn't explain it at all. And then it was several episodes later where they explored that. We're like, okay, so this is how Hook's heart was poisoned and why he can't be by Alice, etc. And then I was like, okay, now I get it. Why wasn't that episode before the other one so it made more sense or entwined with that other one? Regardless. Another thing that didn't make sense to me was how her daughters knew, the one who was asleep, knew that Rapunzel looked like she did when she got awoke. This only makes sense to Once viewers because I was trying to look it up and I think maybe I should try to do more, but I was like, how would her daughter know that she looks like a completely different person? Because she does. That was never explained. From beautiful, young, blonde-haired Rapunzel, and then suddenly you're a completely different actress and there's no explanation. I also really loved Drusilla. I thought she was really fun and a really great character, and I enjoyed her. But man, the season definitely has ups and downs, but I as a whole, I did enjoy it, even though, again, it got wonky. But, so for the finale itself, right? Lots of things happened. It was all over the place to me. I felt that they rushed it, and I know that they just found out that they were for sure being canceled back in March or whatnot, but there were so many storylines that they had to wrap up, and they were just like, okay, we're gonna just do it as quickly as possible. It may not quite make sense, it may be just uber cheesy like some of Once has been, but that's what we're gonna do. So that's what they did. Right at the beginning of the episode, come on, really? Hook and Rumple are like banging against the glass globe with, you know, their hook and their knife. And it's like, you guys, you know it's a magical globe. Like, there's no way for you to get out, and yet you're stupidly like banging on the glass. And I was just like, come on, come on. Okay, and 2, so that's just a sign up. But last episode, it was really exciting because Robin and Alice were in the bus and they were going to Storybrooke, right? That's how the episode ended. And I was like, oh, we're going to Storybrooke. We're going to see all our favorites. They're going to bring them back for the finale. It's going to be really exciting. But then we get to Storybrooke and it's just very, like, Granny's there. I love Granny. And then, you know, some of the 7 dwarves are there. But it's just so, it's a letdown for me because there are a few characters that you get to see. I do love when they, when they get to Rebecca Mader, who plays the Wicked Witch. And she's always beautiful and perfect, and I love her. And that her scene was great. Like, her responses to Robin and Alice were great, made me laugh. But as a whole, them visiting Storybrooke was very disappointing to me. They were there and then they were gone. And I know the episode is only 45 minutes or whatnot, and they had to get rolling. But still, I was like, this seemed like a big thing. Like, we're gonna, I don't know. So, Robin and Alice and why can't I think of her name? The Wicked Witch. She, they save, you know, the family who's in the globe, and that was really quick and boom. And so then, gosh, I'm trying to think of like the highlights here. Throughout, of course, they're gonna have their dramatic like talks, and there was the alternate universe Henry, the Wish World Henry, who was just a jerk. And so, you know, he wants to kill Regina for killing his grandparents, blah, 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 revenge story. And there is this whole scene with Blue Fairy, and I love the Blue Fairy, where he uses his hatred to write in these Once Upon a Time books that the evil Rumple creates to make everyone alone. Which, you know, I feel like, well, I guess because it's to torture them, because I feel like otherwise, wouldn't he just kill them all if he hates them so much? But I think probably the joy is in the torture and the sadness, so I will give you that. So anyway, so Blue Fairy gets whisked off, and there's all these Once Upon a Time books that they're gonna, you know, use for Henry to write with his anger and banish them all to lonely stories and where they're all separated, blah, blah, blah. There's like 2 where Regina and Henry, alternate universe Henry, Wish Henry, are having like a face down, and Regina's just like, I love you, and no matter what version of you, you're not my Henry, but you're a Henry, and so I love you. And then there's also the showdown between the 2 Rumples. Both were very dramatic, and I get it, because that's what Once Upon a Time is all about. But Rumple, so there was a death, and there was kind of a rumor that there'd be a death, and, you know, Rumple gave himself up so that Hook would have a new heart and he could be with his daughter and live, because there was this whole battle scene where, I don't even know, you have to watch it, I'm sure you will, but it was kind of ridiculous. But I do have to say, I think some of the wire work there, even though they weren't completely flying, was better than the finale of Supernatural, just gotta say, and I love Supernatural. But anywho, okay, I wanted to do just a few points, so this video isn't crazy long, but I did. So when they went to Storybrooke and they didn't see Snow White and Prince Charming, I was a little disappointed. I was like, well, maybe they didn't come for a cameo. Like, I'm pretty sure they were, but I was trying not to see spoilers. I'm very anti-spoiler. And I saw a spoiler that Jennifer was going to come back from her Instagram, and I was like, well, I mean, that figures, right, because it's a series finale. But anywho, so when they were in Storybrooke, when Robin and Alice were in Storybrooke and Snow White and Prince weren't there, it made sense that, it made me sad because we didn't see them, right? So anywho, so there is a scene in the Wish Realm where Henry, grown-up Henry, is rescuing Regina from her cage, and there's 2 henchmen come down, and, you know, they're all black, their faces are covered, and I honestly thought, just because how Once Upon a Time is so crazy, is that it was Hook and Robin who had just did this ambush above to create a distraction for Henry to go down and rescue Regina. And I swear to you, I thought they dressed up in the in the outfits that fast and came down and then saved Henry. And I was like, this is stupid. And why are their faces covered? And how could they have changed into those outfits so fast? Well, lo and behold, it wasn't them. It was Snow and Prince Charming. And I honestly have to say I got chills in that moment because I didn't expect it. Even though I'm sure everyone else did. I was so wrapped up in how once is crazy and how lots of things don't make sense. But anyway, so I got chills and I was like, yay, we got our people. So then, of course, so it leads into how there's this meeting and Snow gives this super cheesy speech, and they and they're like, you know, we're gonna save the day. And oh, and then of course, you know, previously like Regina got to Henry and Henry like gave up on his vendetta against Regina and like forgave her. And then of course evil Rumple crisped away when our Rumple died. Still not entirely sure about that, and I know they explained it before and how they're connected, but it just still felt weird. Like, why? I don't know. Okay, sure. They're connected. When one dies, the other dies. Alright, cool. Okay, so let's just fast forward, right? Because that's what the show did. So there's like everything's okay, and then Regina's like, we are gonna do a spell, we're gonna do a curse one last time, one last curse, but this time it won't be like completely evil because every single person's gonna share a little bit of their heart, and we're gonna take this whole world with all these different realms, and we're gonna bring them all to Maine. And in that moment, I was like, what if they don't want to go to Maine? What if they like their world and they want to stay in it? They like the forest, they like the space. Why would they all want to go to Maine? I was like, how, Regina, how is that your decision to make? But the whole thing, the whole theme of the episode was, we will be together. We'll be together. And no one will be apart. Remember, because like from the Once Upon a Time books, that evil Rumple was going to do is that everyone's going to be alone and everyone's always separated. So she's like, we're going to bring us all together. And so then literally the Once Upon a Time subtitles are like, sometime later, and then it cuts to Storybrooke in Maine, and which is kind of cool. It's all the different realms, but they brought parts of the realm to Maine. So it's like there's castles and there's the dragon and there's everybody's like little homes are around it. It's like a game board and everyone's little spots are there. So it's not just like everybody had to live in the Storybrooke earthly real world kind of thing. They all had their stuff. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I'm sure magically, you know, it's like hidden from the rest of the world so they can live in peace, right? And then, so like the finale is where they're bringing Regina, and she's in like what to me looked like a wedding gown basically, to, you know, the original place where Snow and Prince got married and other events happen, and where, you know, the whole story started, right? Where she busts in on their wedding and she's like, I'm gonna curse you all. So we're doing this nice little, you know, coming around, we're closing it, right? Closing that circle. But I was like, are they trying to marry her off to someone? Because it was weird and it totally felt like it was a wedding. But they bring Regina in and like all the characters are there in the coronation room. And, you know, Snow and Prince are up there, and still I'm like, is Robin gonna pop out and then they're gonna get married? And it was great because original Robin, like, he appeared in a dream to Regina, which I love because I think they're a great couple, and it was a nice little throwback, but I was confused. Anywho, so they tell Regina that they need a queen of these new lands in Storybrooke, and everyone decided that it would be Regina, and Regina will be the ruler, which, do they really need one? I guess, I don't know. I mean, she's the mayor, so I guess they, instead of doing like political, they're like, we're gonna have our queen. And it makes sense, right? Because it's like, we are coming full circle, and from evil queen to the good queen, which I do have to say, it did touch me a little bit, even though I still thought it was super cheesy. And then, so Regina's like, is everybody here to Prince and Snow when she's about to get crowned? And they mention how the baby was fussy. And I was like, what baby? What are they talking about? And then right after, in busts in Jennifer Morrison And so Emma Swan and our original Hook and their baby, right? And I was like, ah, yes, their baby. I honestly, because of this whole season and because Emma and Hook weren't really in this season except for like one episode, they just went out of my mind. Like I completely forgot about them. How sad, right? But I was so invested in these new characters. I was just like, oh. But it was really great to see Emma, of course, and our original Hook together and with their baby, which, you know, was fabulous. And then Regina comes down, she has a couple little moments with these people, and then she goes back up and she does a speech. And I have to admit, this speech that's where the tears like started coming down, because there was one other moment in the episode where I was a little teary-eyed. I think it was with Rumple and Belle, who finally got their happy ending. But so there's this little speech that Regina gives, and they do flashbacks, right? So they have flashbacks to stuff that happened throughout the series, like boom, boom, boom. And peeps, that's what got me. I got tears, and I was like, all these years, all these stories. It was so good. It was so good. And then pretty much after that, like, it's over, right? And the last thing, of course, it's always about hope. Like the whole show as a whole as a theme is always about hope, right? Love and hope, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it through. So I did feel like, okay, we all came together, full circle. The message is there. We got to do kind of a flashback, and that was, that was satisfying. Still think season 6's finale was better. I do love that Regina got redeemed, and this whole show, I do feel like it was kind of Regina's story about how she was evil queen. She went through this huge journey, and now she made it, and she got a second chance, and she's been redeemed, and that's, that's powerful. That's good stuff. Definitely, it's good for me being a evil regal. So anyway, that is it. That show is over, and it's really heartbreaking to think that I'm not going to have that next week or next fall or year. And so I hope that there's, I don't know, fan fiction or something. I'm really going to miss Lana Parrilla and Rebecca Mader, Colin, a lot of the people. They're really great. I really love Andrew West too. I thought he was a great adult Henry, even though Henry was never my favorite character, but I really love the adult Henry. So anyway, so those are my thoughts. Sorry, they're kind of rambling. I didn't want to make this like 80 hours long. But all in all, I mean, I'm happy. I'm disappointed, but I'm not crazy disappointed. It could have been worse. But it's what you expect of Once Upon a Time. So thanks for the years of awesome, fun, great tales and new characters, and hopefully I'll be able to see some of these people at convention still, and that will burn the ember of what I need. Thank you for watching. I know this is long. Have a great day. Bye.